Everything really begins with education.
Hi, I'm Karina Schuster, and I'm very excited to be hosting the brand new Sci-Tech Swiss Week podcast. Listen to us and learn something new today. First of all, hi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm really good, thanks. And yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for for being here with us on SciTech Swiss. We are really glad to have you here.
Perfect. Well, I'm so happy to be here today, and I think it's really important what you're doing in terms of increasing awareness of other women in Web3 and women in Web3 in the space. And I'm really happy myself as well to be kind of a representation or a role model for other women to get into this space. So I'm hoping we can dive into a little bit more about that in this chat that we have.
Yeah, great. Exactly. That's what we are here for, right? So you are the founder of Web3 Sanctuary. Can you tell us just a little bit what you guys are doing there and what are you trying to empower when it comes to technologies to promote also a lot of inclusivity when it comes to women in the blockchain space and Web3 space?
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit, I guess, of a background into who I am and what I've been up to in the space.
Yes, please.
Yeah, my name is Devon, and I've been in the blockchain space actually since 2015, 2016 already. So I've been here for quite some time. And my first venture I actually started was in 2016 as a blockchain software production studio based in South Africa, and we eventually moved our headquarters over to Switzerland. And what we did through that company is called Linum Labs. We built blockchain applications for a series of clients from across the world. So through that, I kind of have had the experience of working with DeFi protocols, dApps, DAOs. We've built a lot of NFT marketplaces, and we've had the opportunity to work across a number of verticals as well. So ranging from luxury high-end fashion with Vogue and Dolce & Gabbana to all the way through like major league sports players, and I guess like anything really that blockchain and Web3 touches and intersects with. And that's kind of actually what spurred on my next venture, which is what I'm currently working on, Web3 Sanctuary. And Web3 Sanctuary is an edtech platform basically to train and onboard and place the next generation of Web3 users and developers, because we realized that there is a significant gap in the market, basically, or skills gap actually, between the amount of Web3 talent that Web3 protocols and companies and enterprises need versus how much is actually available currently in the market. So we wanted to basically create this friendly face, this onboarding platform where people could come to and know that it was kind of a safe and welcoming and good place to start from. And your comment as well on like empowerment and inclusivity through Web3. We chose this, I guess, direction because Web3 technologies foster a decentralized and transparent ecosystem, providing equal opportunities for everyone, including women, to participate, innovate, and benefit through. And by removing intermediaries and enabling user-known networks, Web3 can offer women a level playing field in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. So through Web3 Sanctuary as well, kind of empowering anyone to join the space. Because I'm a female founded company and so was my previous company as well, we want to act as kind of like a beacon for women to start getting involved and start transforming this industry.
Yeah, right. And how did you start getting involved in the Web3 space? What inspired you mostly to work in a tech sector?
What inspired me to work in the tech sector, I mean, when I first started getting into it, I was just so excited that there was something different coming up. And it really, I guess, started me thinking that just because that things have always been done in a specific way doesn't mean that it's the right way or the only way to do things in the future. And I think what Web3 has done, specifically in Africa and through a lot of, I guess, the companies and startups that I've had the opportunity to interact with in the past, there's been kind of this like mass change in thinking, and the innovation and solutions that we're seeing coming out of this are just incredible to see. I'm really interested to kind of see what comes next, and that's what's driving me the most.
Yeah, right. And what are a couple of projects that you like to share with us that you guys are working on currently?
Sure. So I mean, like through Web3 Sanctuary, we're working on a couple of video series and educational series. So we have kind of like our blockchain 101 and our advanced blockchain, but our main goal is really to get developers into the ecosystem. So we want to create courses and webinars specifically towards helping make it a less intimidating space, while also providing opportunities to other people in the space. We're also starting some really new like fun series, which we're actually launching next week, which you guys can actually see. It's a WTF is Web3, and they're just like short little quick things to help make you guys laugh and learn a little bit along the way. As well as our platform is actually launching next week, so that's kind of occupying most of my time. There are some other really exciting projects and startups in the space as well. One of them is actually also led by an incredibly badass woman in blockchain. Who am I thinking? Elizabeth Stark at Lightning Labs. I mean, there's a whole bunch of like different. Can't actually pull one off the top of my head now.
No worries. And what are a couple of challenges when entering this space, this blockchain space, the Web3 space? What are a couple of challenges, and especially for women, because you also mentioned before that there's still this kind of gap. And how do you see the situation here in Switzerland, for example?
Yeah, I mean there's a number of challenges, I guess, for anyone looking at getting into the Web3 space. One of the most prominent for newcomers is just complete overwhelm. Where do you start learning? Who do you trust? Where do you go to? There's so much conflicting information available online and so many sources that are claiming to train you. But where do you actually go to start? And then once you start, it's almost like a rabbit hole. And I'm sure it's been the same for you. You explore one topic, explore one
Oh,
abbreviation,
yeah.
and then you going down a complete rabbit hole. Um, but with regards to women in particular, I think that we are facing challenges such as a lack of representation, as well as a general gender bias in the industry and limited access to resources. And I think addressing these type of challenges requires a collective effort from both the industry to foster more of an inclusive environment and provide equal opportunities to women, but also actively combating discrimination and the bias in the space, so to make it like more of a welcoming place for everyone. But as even us as female founders now, I guess like making it a more welcome space. We see in my companies, at least, women are much more likely to apply to work as either a developer or anyone in my team, actually, if they see a female lead, if we portray ourselves as a welcoming environment. Yeah.
Of course. And when it comes to this creative process and when it comes to creating different sorts of projects or mentoring, what are a couple of key aspects that you guys are focusing on when training women in the Web3 space?
Yeah. So I mean, I firmly believe that encouraging women and basically anyone to enter the space begins with education. And that's why our platform is offering a conducive environment for anyone to learn, to interact with industry experts, and to build a network. And I think with all of us, and even what you're doing now, by creating a welcoming and supportive community, we're hoping to inspire more women and more people to explore and contribute to Web3 and to blockchain development. And that's why I think as well what you're doing in terms of like providing this platform is so important.
Yeah, I believe it's really important to create this kind of safe space where people can actually interact with each other and can have, possibly, hopefully answers to their questions. And another question that I really had in the context also of AI and business, what are a couple of, key ways, that you're thinking about when it comes to transformation, also referring to the traditional market, to the traditional industries, but also creating new, opportunities in the digital space?
Definitely. I actually presented last week or the week before on an event called AI for Startups. And I still remember, I guess, like getting to that event and being like, I'm not sure how I ended up here because I'm by no means an AI expert, but I use it every single day in every part of my businesses, and both my businesses. And I think a lot of people are starting to use it a lot more. And excuse me. And in that sense, AI is revolutionizing industries, and it's automating like routine tasks, providing insightful data, enhancing customer experiences, and really like driving innovation in both products and service delivery, creating new business opportunities for basically everyone across the board. And I think it's specifically interesting, I guess, to touch on how various sectors are using AI and how, I mean, for us even, we're using AI now in our EdTech platform, where we're ensuring that both individuals that we work with are optimizing and streamlining their education process, but also making sure that we are creating new avenues for growth that maybe previously haven't been attainable or available to students or to our clients.
Yeah, so AI plays definitely a great role in this situation. And where do you see the innovation? What are a couple of projects, or what are a couple of companies, actually, even examples that you might have, on your mind, where you can see that there's still a lot of difficulties in implementing AI in businesses?
So there's I mean, in terms of positives and negatives, what AI is kind of empowering startups and businesses and myself basically to do is it's saving me a lot of time. It's also enabling me to be able to compete. So like small startups like mine are now able to actually have a seat at the table as opposed to with opportunities and analytics and insights that may previously only have been available to enterprises and enterprise clients before. So now we're getting all of these opportunities to really start, like, I guess, targeting our niche a lot more and to start using these processes to really drive our businesses faster. As well as, I guess, the innovation that we're going to start seeing accelerating in specific fields. Some of my favorite examples are, one of them is healthcare. So there's a term called medicine 3.0 that I think I absolutely love. I'm reading a book called Outlive at the moment, and that book basically talks a lot about medicine 3.0 and personalized medication and looking after your health in a way that's so unique to you, but it requires such deep insight and analysis that this basically hasn't been available to us before, but now it is. And we can look at maybe like much deeper preventative solutions. But also it's going to revolutionize the way that how we're actually treated at hospitals as well. Another couple of ones is, I guess, like agricultural. So like using AI to optimize crop outputs or reduce carbon footprints or even with nature conservation. So there's all of these different ways that, I mean, AI, okay, so this is the negative sides, I guess. Sorry, my brain is working a bit fast now. Some of the negative sides, I guess, of AI going from this is that there is an environmental impact to consider. I mean, the servers running and processing information. At some point, we're going to have to find a way to basically make AI more sustainable and more environmentally friendly, but I'm sure that that will come. And right now, I think some of the benefits might offset that initial carbon footprint that AI actually has for itself. Another is that of ethical considerations. So ethical considerations in AI and even blockchain are incredibly important to take a look at. Ensuring that data protection and data privacy foster both trust and inclusivity with regards to the biases created by AI, but also in what that data is being used for and where it's being outputted to. So just in terms of like safety and protection, I think are two of the most important things. Just be aware of, I guess, in regards to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And when it comes to data protection, because as you mentioned before, people accessing all sorts of information, I mean, that's basically part of the game, right? But how are you guys working to ensure that their, personal information will be protected?
So I mean, right now what we're doing for our platform is we're staying very much we have all of the general security considerations taken care of. A lot of them are no different to, I guess, what you would generally be using on the net, like in the internet that you generally use. So just being really careful of phishing, hacking, all of those kind of scams. With regards to AI and data collection, there are a couple of standards based on where you are geographically. Switzerland, I think, has its own data protection laws. South Africa has its own data protection laws. I mean, there's the POPI Act in South Africa, GDPR in the UK, and I think there's a couple of other ones that are all like country specific. So it's really, really important that you do your legal groundwork before you start doing anything in AI, but also being aware of kind of like what your databases cover and collect and making sure that that information is collected and stored properly. If you are basically pulling from a database, making sure that it's not public and that any visible data is encrypted. So there's like all of these different, I guess, like layers to it, because once it's out there, and we don't really particularly probably want it out there.
Yeah, right. For example, because you mentioned that you were actually from South Africa, so I'm pretty sure that the way that it's working right there might be slightly different, on how it's actually working in Switzerland or around the world.
Yeah, I think the opportunities across different continents and different countries can be vastly different in terms of application of specific technology. So when we look at a lot of countries in Africa, for example, even South Africa, but also, I mean, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, these are all countries that are seeing radical increase basically in how quickly these technologies are being built on and adopted. So Web3 and AI, both of these topics are being heavily looked at and used as transformational technologies in these countries. And what really, I guess, like makes me excited about it the most, or what makes it so different and stand out to me, is that in a lot of these countries, we don't have existing systems in place. So for example, in Switzerland or in the UK, they have existing proper financial systems that work well. They have security systems. It's a lot harder
Blockchain is
for
secure, yeah.
Exactly. It's a lot harder for us as entrepreneurs and innovators to go to Switzerland and be like, hey, we built this cool thing, replace your system with it and use it. Where they come back to us and be like, no, but we already have a working system. What's the point? Whereas if we go to somewhere in South Africa, we're like, hey, we built this cool thing. It's gonna have this and this and this results. Cool, we've never had one of these before. So we're able to leapfrog now in this innovation and kind of like take a step even beyond that of something happening in Europe. And we've actually seen this before with mobile banking, digital payments. South Africa was light years ahead, I think, of a lot of the other countries because we didn't have a system that existed yet. So we went straight from no system to really good digital banking, you know? So that's kind of what I see AI doing and Web3 doing as well, and basically leapfrogging a lot of the other countries just out of a need and a necessity and a hunger to do so.
Yeah, right. And how can we actually bridge this gap when it comes to women in the business space and especially in this kind of technological environment? How can we actually motivate more women to have more access to this kind of environment?
I think AI does have the potential to eliminate biases in recruitment, maybe. And through our platform, we're hoping to provide education and opportunities to empower women to basically leapfrog their skills and their knowledge in tech-related industries or in any industries, I guess, into leadership type roles within both blockchain and the AI industries. So I mean, in that sense, I guess like future-proofing your skills, providing those opportunities to yourself to upskill and to have the knowledge that you would need to further bridge the skills gap, I guess, or not the skills gap, the gender gap. But yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of it for me comes down to like exposure, education, providing access to newer opportunities. But also, I guess, like with the technologies that we're currently working with now, AI-driven flexible work environments can facilitate better work-life balances or encourage more women to pursue and thrive leadership positions, because previously maybe going into the office every day wasn't sustainable. And we're seeing a big shift in these fields as well.
Yeah, right. You're totally right. Another question that I'm actually asking to a lot of people, and it's a very interesting question for me. It's, in your opinion, should technology be perceived as our friend or our enemy?
I love this question because it can differ
Everyone
so much.
loves this question.
Yeah, I know. It's so different depending
question.
on who you ask. I mean, I think there's no point fearing a technology because that'll just inhibit your likelihood of hopping on board and making it work for you rather than you working for it. So like removing that element of fear, taking control, learning all the things that you need to. So like upskilling in the areas, learning how to use ChatGPT, learning how to use it to get ahead of your career. As opposed to, I just guess, like blocking it off and just pretending it's not happening, because it is happening. There's no way we're going to put these technologies back in the box right now. So you may as well use it to your advantage. And like most startups right now, they have to incorporate something with at least AI. Web3 maybe not yet, but like it's definitely leaning towards that kind of progression. But at the same time, I do still say please to my robots. Just in case there's a robotic uprising.
Oh God. Yeah, exactly. Because you actually you mentioned, the use of ChatGPT. Isn't that any particular risk that we won't use our brains anymore? As some of my friends probably will use these kind of terms, or probably I really think that if trained in the right way, it will probably work the way that we want it to work, helping us out and, probably also winning time.
Definitely, I agree. There's a big dichotomy, I guess, between using AI to do your mundane and repetitive process tasks versus when it starts becoming more creative. Um, but in the sense of like using AI to assist your tasks, it might make us a little bit lazy, but I think that'll ultimately help give us more time to either doing more things or spending more time like doing family things or other things that you would like to spend your time on. Well, at the same time, a lot of people were scared of, for example, the emergence of Google. If we can just search anything we want, won't we get lazy? There's a big chance of that, yes, but at the same time, it's just going to change the way that we consume and receive and interpret information. And I think ChatGPT is going to be the same. So it's not going to, I guess, like replace how smart or dumb we are, but just change the way that it's going to change our relationship with information and information recall, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah, because we also have to be quite selective when it comes to the information provided by ChatGPT. But also another question that I have, I don't know if it's probably related to this, but it's one of my own curiosities. It's probably when you're generating with ChatGPT a lot of I don't know, let's say that you can generate, a bunch of pictures based on your quality or, the information that you're providing. How will we actually go on with the ownership of the picture?
Yeah, I think that's a whole new can, that one actually, because that comes down to like copyright protection laws as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think there's been a lot of debate on this topic over the past couple, when was ChatGPT? Nearly a year actually. ChatGPT was nearly released a year ago. It was released on the 30th of November 2020.
2 years ago, I think, 2021. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's been quite some time now actually since it was released, and there's been heated discussions about this since it was, because a lot of the time the image or the generative AI models were trained on existing artworks or existing images, and those images in themselves are copyright protected. So how can we really say that the new images that are being generated are completely unique or individual? There's also a massive conversation around AI and creativity in the sense of, can AI actually be creative?
That's one of my questions. So, because, I have a lot of friends who are artists themselves, probably also on the traditional market, but also on the digital market. And we see a lot of digital art and artists and NFTs and, NFTs, collectibles and, this sort of stuff. But at the same time, I mean, how can we ensure that everything that we see online, it's, copyrighted and protected? And
yeah, I think it is a super big topic of conversation, and I think especially when AI first came about, a lot of artists were not happy with it, and it impacted a lot of people's roles. And I mean, everything from graphic design to fine art to now UI UX, which you can kind of use it for as well, is kind of being brought into question a little bit more. But from my personal opinion, I feel that creativity as a concept, like philosophically, creativity as a concept is rooted in two things: human experience and human emotion. And through those two key elements, we're basically able to spark and ignite something and create something internally within ourselves, whether it's in our heart, mind, or soul, or however you want to look at it, that enables us basically to have that true uniqueness, that true spark of genuine creativity and authenticity. And I think AI is a long way off from being able to basically mimic or imitate something to that degree. That being said, there are examples, for example, of AI creating entire symphonies that people aren't able to tell apart from basically human or AI. So I mean, it's still a contentious point of debate, I guess.
And to what kind of extent are you guys considering, the use of AI in your business, especially?
So my first business, Linum Labs, we branched into actually creating AI products now for our clients. So we do actually have an AI research arm. One of the cool things that we created for my previous company was called Linum GPT, and it's basically like we train this Linum GPT on all of our HR documents, leave policies, contracts, basically anything really related to HR. and we plugged it into our Slack, so our team members can actually hop onto our Slack and ask GPT, like at GPT, like when can I take leave in December, or how many leave days do I have, or who can I talk to about this? And GPT goes and pulls the information and it, like real time updates me, like, cool, if you want to talk to HR, you must contact this person. They're on leave at the moment, so it's very cool that we were able to create a system like that. So creating like GPT was for us our first experiment that we played with. How I'm using it now in Web3 Sanctuary is almost like a lookup function. So in our course content, if there's a word you don't understand, you can click on it and ask ChatGPT, and you guys can have like almost a discussion, like you have a one-on-one mentor sitting there with you, chatting your way through kind of learning new concepts, which is great for rabbit holes or for if you're ADHD, because there's like all these little micro learnings that you can do. And yeah, also, I mean, like AI chatbots, that's also a really easy implementation. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I think startups can start doing, even in terms of like market analysis and customer segmentation, just in terms of understanding who you're actually marketing to. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to change the landscape a lot, and I'm quite excited for it. For now, I'm excited. When I get anxious, I'll drop you a text.
Yeah, probably drop me a text, because we're going to have another interview just related to that. So yeah, I mean, I choose not to be anxious. I mean, I chose to be excited about something. To be completely honest, yeah, technology in some cases can really make your life easier, you know, if you know how to use technology. But at the same time, I mean, it can facilitate your work, like in my case. But on many other aspects, it can also really make life difficult, you know, if you don't know how to use technology. So I really stand with, you know, the people who are actually able to train other people on how to use technology. So that's really important. And I really hope that's also why I'm interviewing a lot of people, you know, talented and, you know, experts in the tech and digital space, you know, just that we will be able to train also other people when it comes to implementing these technologies, and to have a word about, you know, AI and blockchain, and have these kind of free debates that I really enjoy.
Definitely. And I think like the topics and the conversations that you covered in this are important. And I also want to create that open space and that open platform for anyone that does want to learn more about it. That's why I think I'm posting so many blogs and videos at the moment on it, just like provide that space. I mean, and my DMs are always open as well for people that actually want to like get in deeper into the topic. But yeah, thank you for the questions that you did ask. I thought they were interesting to kind of reflect on as well. No,
but another question that I had, and you know, on last minute, it's what are you expecting after Web3? Like, there will be another Web4. What are a couple of technological advancements that you're expecting to see?
Sure. I don't know. So history and the world, and I guess how we all work, is either always tended towards either centralization or decentralization, and we kind of see it go in waves since the forever. Web 1, as we actually saw it back when it's still just like code terminals run on people's machines, was actually more decentralized than I think a lot of people think it was. And then as we head into Web 2, which was more centralized again, where your servers and data and information was all owned by Facebook, Amazon, Google, and now heading into Web3, we're in decentralization territory again, where we're seeing people want to take back their control of their data and their privacy and everything that they kind of own. I do think that possibly the next wave will then be again to centralization, where we're kind of giving up again more of our freedom. Bigger companies are kind of taking control again more of our data, because it's easier and because we need an interface to actually work with. Web3 is not very user-friendly right now. It kind of actually sucks to use a lot of the time. So I think that probably the next step might be, and some people say it's the metaverse. I do think that the metaverse might be owned by enterprises again, just like because they are the ones that have the money to actually build it. Hopefully not, but it's possible. But I'd be curious to basically see the metaverse kind of stop being talked about a lot when AI started popping up as more of a topic. So we'll see kind of where it goes next because of the introduction of AI and the fast rate at which things are accelerating. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that actually as well.
Oh, yeah, I love when people ask me questions. Well, I pretty much agree with what you said previously about the advancements. I feel like we are still, something that I really, said a lot of times. I feel that we are still at the very beginning because these kind of technologies that we are currently working on and developing, they're not really available for everyone and everywhere. They're
Mm,
just a set of tools, made for probably just for a niche. And I think that we really need to work on the regulations. I feel that the regulations are pretty much, I mean, it's pretty much something that we need to work on more. There needs to be more clarity.
mhm.
That's my honest opinion. And probably adoption. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions, about technology and the use of technology, and especially when it comes to AI, blockchain, Web3, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm doing because I really want to provide more clarity and hopefully, you know,
Yeah, two big topics as well stand out to me a lot through your answer, and that's
it's a lot to
accessibility
unpack.
and
Yeah.
education. Yeah. Accessibility and education, I think, are the biggest things that we're trying to at least defeat now, or to open up to more of the world. And I'm hoping that we can do it. I'm hopeful that Web3 Sanctuary will be one of these gateways that people can use and trust to basically take themselves to the next level and to really onboard themselves into the world of Web3 and AI. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other companies and people as well basically taking on this mission because it is the next step.
Exactly, especially machine learning. Like there's a lot to unpack again. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the interesting conversations that we were able to have today. And let's keep in touch and let's create a better world together when it comes to technology.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Karina, and thanks for having me on your podcast. It's really, really great to chat with you.
Yeah, it was great. It was the same. And everyone keep watching Sci-Tech Swiss.